Hello, everyone. It's Melissa the Dreadful Mystic with Starting Out Solitary, and this week's subject is the devil or Satan. Do you believe in him? Why or why not? And for this video, I am joined by my amazing co-host, the Deviant Witch.
Hello, peoples.
And we are going to go over basically our definition of the devil and our definition of Satan, because to me and to Mr. Blackthorn, those are actually kind of different entities, and what we believe. So, Michael,
Yeah.
what is your definition of the devil and Satan?
Well, I think when most people think of the devil and Satan, they interlink them, and because they associate the devil and Satan with Christianity, but not so much. Satan, yeah, would be associated with Christianity in a way. The devil or devils, not so much. The devil can be anything really pesky, but like demons and of that nature. But when I think of the devil, I think of the god of witches, or the male essence of the witches, the one who is like the father of witches. When I think of Satan, I think of the Christian aspect that of the devil, the Christian aspect. Satan is that supposed evil force, or the rebel, the one who decided to create change, the one who decided to stand up and express something, and the one who decided who got thrown out or cast down or whatever. So Satan is very linked to a Christian perception of you have all those, like that torture, hell, blah blah blah, associated with that and energy. And then you have the devil, which is more I would say pagan-esque, spiritual, because you have the devil in pretty much all religions and practices. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. There are devils in every religion. Every aspect of religion, you have these feisty, troublemaker, trickster type beings, and then you have, like you said, Satan, and Satan to me definitely deals more into Christianity. I mean, that's, even though I'm not even sure if, I guess the word Satan is actually in the Bible. I know Lucifer is. I guess they do describe it. It's been a long time since I've read the Bible, but that's what Christians associate with the tempter, the trickster,
Right.
One who attempts to lure you into doing bad things. If there's a problem, the devil made me do it. So, like all the other devils in religions, but with Satan, to me, Satan has more of a specific backstory, if you will, versus the devil. The devil to me is very generic, where Satan has a specific backstory, specific deeds, and a certain, aura about him, a certain, like, he's the one that's punishing people, like you stated before. So where the devil can be anything. He can be, the man in black, the crossroads demon. He can be anything. There's not really a specific idea about the devil, where there is very specific ideas, when you think of Satan. So to me, that is the biggest difference. Personally, and like you said, to me, the devil is part of our legacy, witchcraft, right. Father of the witches, the witch father. So there's distinct different energies there. And even though I will say a lot of people do tend to get the devil and even the Witch Father and Satan somewhat confused and exchanged, which to me, they're very different. You know, Satan may be modeled after devils, but still they're two different entities. They're not the same one.
Right.
They're not
And,
the same.
right. And if you were to ask a Satanist what Satan means to them, you'd have an entirely different response. So that's something that we should also consider, is because there are people who view, you know, Satan, even Lucifer, in a very different light. And it's a really good thing to have that understanding, because how society teaches us to respond to, you know, Satan, Lucifer, the devil, is not necessarily how we should respond, is not necessarily the truth of the matter. So depending on who you ask, it's very perceptive, because again, like I said, Satanists will have a different response when working with the devil. They may, depending on the type of Satanist, they may see the Satan and Lucifer as the liberator, you know, as the rogue, the liberator, the one who, you know, frees you from mass control. So there are things to consider when talking about this subject. So many, you know, witches and pagans, they're so very defensive about this topic, and they're quick to express, no, I don't believe in the devil. No, there's no devil in the craft. There's just no. And it's, I think that's offensive. Only because I feel like we should give respect to the people who believe in Satan, Lucifer, blah blah blah, such as Satanists, because if our craft has been taken and bastardized, who says that theirs hasn't gone through the same thing, you know? So if we're so defensive against, you know, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, whatever, you know, that still shows our association and our fear and our ties towards Christianity.
Right, exactly. And, you know, and then there's the Luciferians, and they have a whole nother idea what Lucifer is versus Satan and the devil. So, you know, you have a lot of different concepts here of a being that has been kind of transmuted, you know, along the ages into different aspects, a lot like, you know, the Greek pantheon gods to the Roman pantheon. You know, I mean, it's very obvious where they got their inspiration, and how they've changed and are made to fit that society, whichever society they're in, better. Right. So now, me personally, I do believe that the Christians' Satan exists.
Yeah.
And because all these believers, I mean, every Abrahamic religion has a Satan story, you know, has the fall of Lucifer. So, yeah, all those millions and millions of people putting all that energy in that particular boogeyman, that particular trickster, of course. I mean, just that alone would create a being. You know, that much thought put into the belief that being is real. So now, do I have anything to do with him? Personally, not so much. You know, that's not my gig. Right. But the devil, the witch father, yes, you know, that's an important aspect of my craft. So, and to me, the devil is one of those entities that, depending on your position in the world, he will appear differently, but it's the same person.
Right.
That makes sense. You know, like if you're sitting at a crossroads waiting for the man in black, he's going to appear as the man in black. Right. But if you were in the forest in England waiting for Black Phillip, he's going to appear as Black Phillip. You know what I mean? But still, they are a lot like the Morgan, where there's 3 separate goddesses, but they all make a goddess.
Right.
You know, with their 3 different aspects. It's same principle there.
Right.
For
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about the Christian perception of the devil and Satan and whatnot as being valid. If you and this is kind of like a spoiler alert, if you all haven't watched the last season of the Vampire Diaries, spoiler alert. But it kind of reminds me of how when let's say Enzo dies and Bonnie creates a whole new world, for him. Her intense emotion, her intense reaction, her response creates a whole new reality, a whole different astral entity.
Right, exactly.
So, if you think about it, anyone, for as long as we put faith into something and energy into something, it's created. So the Christian perception of all these things is created. So there it is. But Lucifer wasn't just a Christian concept. Lucifer was in the Gospel of Witches, Radia. I don't know the full. I can't remember the whole thing, but I know Lucifer was mentioned. I believe Diana created out of herself created Lucifer. I want to say
right. And then they had Ariana. Thank you. I couldn't. Her name just went out of my head. Ariana. So yeah.
So Diana, Lucifer, and they created Aradia, and she was of the earth. She was here to help witches take power and help witches to help themselves. So Lucifer, obviously is translated bringer of light. That's another interesting thing to consider. But yeah, so Lucifer is the bringer of light. You have this light energy, yet Lucifer, the devil, and such are associated with darkness. And
even though they were bringers of information, that's the whole reason why Adam and Eve got kicked out of Eden.
Right, and if you think of light as being information and darkness as being, in the dark, so misinformation or keeping one in the dark, Lucifer, bringer of light, bringer of information, giving you the right to be who you are and to be aware and to have a mind of your own to think, or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Being a zombie. Being part of a mass collective that does not think for themselves. So yeah, we obviously do believe in the devil, Satan, Lucifer, but in different perceptions, different ideas.
Yes, and they're different entities. They're not the same creature. And I would not even put the devil, Satan, and Lucifer as like a trio, a triple god either. To me, that they're just so different. They're so distinctive. And a lot of that has to do with the influence of believers, of people who believe in these entities. Oh gosh, what book was it I read where I can't remember. I think it was American Gods, but it might not have been, where basically the gods were changing their appearance and their traits changed with the times, with the way how people worshiped them and how they believed in them.
Right. Yeah.
And it was really interesting. And I think Percy Jackson, whenever they went from the Greek to the Romans, talked about that too. But because depending on which worshiper they were dealing with, their perception changed, but at the core, they were still the same.
Right.
It didn't change. It only changed the surface. So, yeah. I found that interesting, and that's kind of pretty much the way I believe. You know, Satan is Satan to every Christian or every person that follows Abrahamic religions. He might change slightly depending on the worshiper, but at the core, he's still the same. The same with the devil.
Right. Absolutely.
So, what else are we going to talk about?
I don't know, y'all. Like, if anyone has any questions when you watch the upload of the video, definitely feel free to ask and share your thoughts. I know Mr. Shadowboy has a few videos on like the Witch Father and such. That'd be a good resource. Any traditional witchcraft book will talk about some form of the Witch Father. And then online resources. I can't remember the website, but traditional witchcraft, and they talk about what's his name? Starts with a Q. Shit. Anyways, they talk about the Man in Black. They talk about the devil. They talk about there's another name for him. It starts with a Q, I believe, and I cannot recall. But they talk about him. They talk about all these different perceptions and variations. And it's definitely something that I would suggest in delving into, because I feel like if you're a witch, then your practice should definitely have some understanding of the devil, because in a lot of expressions, that's where we get our power. That's where we have gained our skills. Some people link it to the devil, Nephilim, all kinds of different things. But it's good to have an understanding of where these stories say that our power comes from, or where we are attached to. Working with the devil is very important, I think, for all witches, and it's something that I feel like we should all be comfortable with, because you got to face your fears, and if you keep fearing the devil, if you keep fearing Satan or Lucifer or whatnot, you're still attached to the Christian faith. You're still attached to your hesitancy in regards to your Christian upbringing. There's nothing wrong with being Christian. There's nothing wrong with honoring certain elements in faith if that's what you choose. But as witches, we shouldn't have that fear. We shouldn't have that apprehension when it comes to a conversation about the devil or Satan. It shouldn't be something like we're scared to discuss.
Right, exactly. And I mean, honestly, I would also look into the mythology of, Lucifer and Diana, and look into, if you don't know a lot about, or just know what you've been told about the Christian Satan, I would do some research on that. Come to your own conclusions. Figure out what you feel is true for you. What your perception is on all these things. I think, to me, the biggest way to combat fear is by knowledge. So keep yourself informed and make up your own mind. I think that you'll be really interested in what you find if you really open your mind and set your sights into really delving into the different aspects of the devil and how he's perceived in other religions, Satan, how he's perceived in the Abrahamic religions, and then Lucifer. And I think that's all. I can't think of anything else. You?
No. If you want to know more about Luciferianism, this book has been recommended to me by one of my friends who's, so I haven't read it fully yet, so I can't really say one way or the other, but it might be a good resource for someone interested.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the philosophy of Luciferianism. Educate yourselves.
Yes. Alrighty. Well, if you want to add anything before we go.
I think I do. I think I do. Okay, so definitely check out, obviously in a couple days, Wednesday, we'll be talking about why the witch should work with the devil, why it's important, why, maybe how, but we're definitely going to be talking about why the witch should work with the devil. But yeah.
Yes. Well, alrighty, y'all. That is our show. Make sure you catch us on Wednesday, and it'll be a lot of fun. If you have any questions, comments, anything, just comment section down below, and we will be happy to answer any questions that you have. And y'all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Peace.